Hey, so in this video, we're going to talk about machine learning in trading. Now, I want to forewarn you, this is quite the rabbit hole and it's super interesting to me. I've learned a lot about machine learning. As I mentioned, this is actually one of the first topics I dove into even before learning Python fully. So I'm pretty well versed on it. I'm going to put some books below, but essentially the thought is, hey, if machines are better than humans, well, machine learning can look at millions and millions of lines of data and then output the next bar's price. That's the ideal, hypothetical, unicorn thing. Now, so far, you can run random forests or simple regressions on any data. Like all that data I showed you of the Bitcoin data, you could run machine learning algorithms on it and it can predict price pretty okay, like pretty well actually, depending on what type of algorithms you are using. But it's a huge rabbit hole, and it takes a long time to learn all that stuff. The reason I'm putting it into this is because so many people have requested, how do you use machine learning in trading? And that's one simple way, is you use past data, input it into algorithms, and then you try to output future data. Like I put in the last 20,000 bars of data and tell me what the next bar is going to be. Is the price going up or is it going down, right? That's the ideal unicorn solution. What I've found though is there are thousands of other algo traders out there that are using the same data, the open, the high, the low, the close, and the volume. So far for me, it's hard to find a huge edge if you're using that open, high, low, close, volume data. Now, where the edge, in my opinion, comes from is the data that you're using. So if you're using what everybody else uses, open, high, low, close, volume, that we've been using throughout this training, on your machine learning, well, everybody else is machine learning with that too. And they probably have a faster, stronger computer than you do. So I think the edge is in the data, when can you find data that not everybody else has? And it doesn't matter if everybody else has it, but not every other machine learning algorithmic trader has, right? Because if you can capture data, maybe it's like review data or something of a product or data that just not everybody thinks of, that's where the edge comes in. So you just have to think differently and try to find some new data that nobody else has. And then you have to go learn about machine learning, which I could make a huge course based off of that. If you want to learn more about machine learning in trading, always feel free to email me at moondevonyt@gmail.com, and I can go deeper into it. But I want to give you kind of a synopsis of like how it's used. So that's the first way, is using like regression or random forest to predict the next price. I think everybody's doing that. I think less people are using it for sentiment, meaning like, hey, read all these Twitter feeds or these press releases or earnings reports. And then the machine learning can kind of decipher if like, oh, are all these tweets bearish or bullish? And then what does that mean to your trading? Do you want to buy when everything is bearish, or do you want to sell when everything's bearish? Right? So it can kind of read the sentiment of the market. That's one very great way to use machine learning. And I think less people are using it for that. I think there's still a lot of people using it though. And then the last type, and by the way, I'm just giving you an overview so you can go research this stuff, because there's no way in a short boot camp where I'm trying to give you the fundamentals I can go over all of this, right? Like that would be it's like a Stanford course. And by the way, if you want to learn about machine learning, Andrew Ng, or NG, Andrew NG, YouTube him, and he gives away so much information about machine learning. I watched his full Stanford course. He has some courses on Coursera. Like machine learning is, again, don't get distracted. You don't need it to find profitable strategies. Let me say that again. Don't get distracted by machine learning and trading. You don't need it to find profitable strategies. It's just a bonus, and it's super mystical and kind of fun for nerds like myself to geek out on and try to find a machine learning algorithm that predicts price, right? But I want to give you a couple of different ways to look at this. So you have, number one, you can run machine learning to try to predict the next bars of price. which is used by everybody. That's like the most simple way. The second way is sentiment data, like pulling in Twitter feeds or earnings reports and letting the machine learning kind of decipher those. And then the third way, which is super interesting, and I think less people are doing this, and you can find some GitHubs of code that will show you how to do this, but it's actually deep learning. And essentially you train an agent, and this agent is really just a bot. And this bot looks at a bunch of data, and you give them maybe a reward. You give them a reward for when they look at that data and predict if the next bar is a buy or a sell. And if they get it correctly, you give them that reward. If they get it wrong, they get a penalty. So over time, using reinforcement learning, which is a subsector of machine learning, that agent, which is the bot, will learn how the markets work. So the theory here is, over time, with every time it makes, like, let's say a bet or a trade, it gets rewarded if it's right, and it gets penalized if it's wrong. So with millions of lines or hundreds of thousands of lines of data, it can eventually start to predict what the next price is. Can I sit here and just give you an algorithm that works for that? No, but I wanted to get you thinking, because I wanted to leave you with some cool things to think about and how you can really expand this. But let me reiterate one more time. You don't need machine learning to be a great algo trader. You can build your own strategies with the tools I've given you today, and of course some hard work and some research of your own. I just wanted to make sure to give you the fundamentals. And I couldn't be more proud of you for making it through here, because you're on your way. And like, when you do have success, please do email me. Let me know. Let me know where you started and where you are now. I know you'll be successful if you just keep working at it. Watch this bootcamp again if you need to. And everything I talk about, just dive deeper on. This is just a bootcamp. It's not like a full course or anything, or else it would have been like 300 hours, you know? Like, there's so many things that I just wanted to show you and kind of direct you in the right path. But now you have the tools. And we'll talk about how to scale this up here in the next video. But I think the number one key is just like, take more shots and just keep going, outwork everybody else. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. We know that. And I just love this. I love this. Both of these guys, all three of these guys are the greats, right? They're all amazing at what they've done. And it comes down to one thing. It's just like, work harder, outwork the person next to you. Keep working. Keep testing new things, and you're gonna get there. So I'm gonna put some book suggestions and whatnot that you can get on Amazon that will teach you a little bit more about machine learning in trading specifically, and machine learning in general. It's a huge rabbit hole. I would recommend getting some trading algos set up and some testing, and get your backtesting. Get that down to a T before jumping into any of this. But if you're interested, feel free to hit me up on email. That's moondevonyt@gmail.com. So I appreciate you. I'm proud of you, and I look forward to your success. I'll catch you in the last video where we'll go over how to scale this up.